Hi. So, here to talk about Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups. Seven is, there's options, right? This number seven. And in the strange vision amongst the chalices, there are things within them that we will talk about in the description, but generally you have to reflect on what would be the right choice. Now, in life, there's cycles and synchronicities. There's relationships that are for a reason, season, lifetime. And whatever choices are coming in front of you, you got to look at the images and reflect on them. Look at the paths and reflect on them. And, some things we got to see as contemplating what's within it to attain, what is right. And sometimes, in some degree, it's nothing permanent, right? Or substantial that could be suggested. So, in a sense, it could be deceptive if you're not paying attention to the choices in front of you. You don't want to dwell in something that's fantasy, wishful thinking, or try to grab more than what you're being offered. Are you following a niche that's right for you, but maybe a direction is shifting? So, one may be fanciful, full of daydreams, but there could be something lurking in the cups that you don't want to be met with, right? Meaning in the paths or the choices. It's a beautiful place sometimes to have choices in front of you, but you want it to be coming from a grounded place of reality. Also seeing the practical limitations of your dreams, possibility of failing by making the wrong choices. So there's opportunities and choices, but you might lack focus with the Seven of Cups upright. It could be an illusion, or end up becoming a dissatisfaction. See, nothing is always as it appears, or what we have in our fantasies or pipe dreams. We don't want to have these unrealistic expectations, right? That could be possible when you're pulling the Seven of Cups. You'd be in these illusions or distorting in your reflections, and you don't know there's corruptions, there's maybe also your own desires, and it's going towards something corrupted. And part of this is also like premeditation, like someone could have pre-planned to confuse. That's why it's better to plan. When you see this card coming up, being determined for the right resolution is a more realistic path, right? The courage to move through life in the real reality of things. So as you can see, it's a man that's standing before the Seven of Cups, right? And it's filled with various gifts. Some cups bear things that are desirable, such as jewels, or some kind of wreath of victory, or and then the options in front of you. You find, oh wow, there's so many options, and some they're alluring, right? Because there are jewels or gems in some of the cups. Now, other cups, there aren't any gifts at all. Rather, they're curses, right? You might see it say snakes, dragons, right? So you have to be careful of what you're looking at. Cycles can end up being, you get placed in a place you don't belong, and then there's threats, right? Like the negative side of a snake totem. Snakes on the positive side is knowledge and healing, but on the negative side, you hear that saying where people say, well, that person was a snake, or they are a snake, so there's deceit part of it, right? And dragons, well, sure, it's unrealistic, but dragons breathe fire, right? On the positive, it's power and strength. It's even auspicious in luck. But if you're just a regular human and there was a dragon snake inside of a cup, well, it's harm, right? Seeing that there's something not good in this path that could hurt you. Maybe it's just not in alignment with you. Maybe this road belongs to someone else. There's also the clouds and the cups that symbolize the man's wishes and dreams, right? The different gifts inside, they might be suggesting a need for us to be careful what one is wishing for, as not everything is as it seems. Choices need to be made, but in doing so, one must go beyond the illusions, beyond the dreams, beyond the fantasies, and go to reality and out of the allure, and instead focus on what's right for oneself and whoever else might be on the path. So, really looking at your options, right? Being careful with your options and choosing the roads wisely. So reverse, it's your desire. You have that will, determination for a project. Imagination might be vibrant and huge, but it's also seemingly maybe limitless, right? You're thinking so big, maybe grander. It could also be like feeding one's deepest anxieties, right? Misapplied to what you're feeding. One is limited by one's fears and failures rather than, one's potential. So you want to look to this maybe as making the brave choice, the right choice that matches your potential. So with all the different, objects or symbolisms with this reverse, it's like, yeah, there could be various desires or dreams or options possible before you, but you are trying to be the most realistic, right? The most, going towards things beyond distortions, right? Like, yes, we desire things, but want to be in alignment to your personal values, and with this reverse, you might be overwhelmed by the choices, but for a good reason, because you want to make the best choice. In conclusion is, yes, there could be options in front of you, but you want, and it doesn't mean that your dreams, your desires can't be manifested. You don't want to overfill your plate. Be grounded in reality, and, because this coming up maybe even often in a reading or someone's reading is this, maybe this person is prone to irresponsible decisions, like choosing the wrong direction instead of the right direction, and I took the long way, like to my future or towards this person or whatever might be coming up. Is you want to be in the right creative energy, what you're trying to bring has to feel like it's gonna have sentiment, it's gonna be solid, it's gonna be, have some, a path that you maybe have root in, right? Instead of feeling like something, that deceptive or not permanent or not substantial is being chosen. And if you keep repeating making that error, right, you want to try to correct it, even altering something, right? It's like that saying that was supposed to be attributed to Einstein. It's like, if you keep repeating the same thing the same way, it's basically you're insane, right? It's the notation of insanity. So even when you're trying for something, that you're trying for something that's right, if you have options in front of you, that you're not just looking at the pretty packaging, that you're looking at it, from a clear mind state, and how do you achieve that? You draw yourself back, in reflections to really see, is this like, something that's imagination that can't be manifested, right? Or is it something that, yes, I can see beyond the illusion, and this would be something that's solid that I can attain? Maybe we'll have something that is of value to me and maybe all that's involved. So you're not dwelling in like, oh, I should have chosen this, where it could have hurt you, or like seeing it realistically. So, not getting distracted by things that are shiny and pretty, choosing your options wisely. That way, you can see in this symbolism from this card is that there might be many different things ahead of you, many different choices, and to not be lacking focus or even have dissatisfaction with choosing something that is shiny and pretty, and when it could actually hurt you and you don't know, to like really look at it. Nothing is, like I said, nothing maybe is as it appears when we're distorting it. So that's why it's like choosing wisely. This is a water element, and also would help you to have an answer of a yes if you're looking for yes or no as far as the deck answer. So, be courageous in what's real. Don't get distracted by something pretty or lost in your fantasies. I hope this helps.